I finally got around to watching this anime, and my goodness, this is one of the weirdest entries I've seen in the mecha genre. So weird, in fact, that it's difficult to get into, but once you start experiencing the characters and the music above the concept and the mecha battles, then Aquarion Logos isn't so bad. It still has that alien feel about it, which does make me hesitate before watching each episode. But anyway, here are my first impressions of Aquarion Logos from episode 0 to 5. Now, episode 0, I'm guessing it's episode 0 because it doesn't have that much to do with the Logos series. It's the most difficult episode to get into because it starts really slowly and the glossy animation is very strange to look at. The animation is okay overall, but as a quick observation, the animation is very slightly blurred to give a glowing effect, like in really old Hollywood movies where they would put a blur on the money shot of the beautiful woman. It's not a bad thing, and I do appreciate that this anime has its own style of animation, but I can understand if general audiences are put off by it as opposed to in focus, 100% in focus animation. Episode 0 seems to focus on parallel universes and mecha suits entering the current world from different parallel universes and fighting, and all this happens whilst a young couple watches it all. I guess that's what was happening, and the episode, it ends with all the mecha combining in order to magically put a torn book back together. It was all kinds of over the top. What I liked was the beautiful imagery, especially the rips in the sky. So, weirdness aside, I decided to continue watching because the episode was technically efficient. Episode 0 also ends with a very nice ending song. I think that song was used in a predecessing anime of the Aquarion franchise, but it sounded so heroic to listen to, and it's such a shame that it wasn't used for the other Logos episodes. And now, onto the bulk of the anime. Episode 1 does what you'd expect from an episode 1. We get introduced to the characters and the concept. The main character, Akira, is a great main character. He is one of the biggest reasons to watch this anime. He looks like a normal human, but he acts like a straight as a line hero type who wants to be a hero. He says, "I'm the savior." Now, before you call me out and say, "Oh, he's just a walking lead character, cliche, and that's a bad thing," the difference here is that Akira is more of a homage to the stereotypical hero type in that his hero characteristics are celebrated and sometimes even used for successful comedic effect. In other words, Akira is a hero type here for entertainment purposes. At this point, I still didn't really get what the concept of the anime was. I got that Akira is drawn to a cafe filled with mecha pilots and operators. An interesting idea. And then a big mecha battle happened in a different universe. The main female character, Maya, joins forces with Akira for some reason, and they defeat the evil monster that kept repeating the same word for some reason. It was all very confusing, however, it was entertaining to watch Akira casually walk into the cafe, casually take control of a mecha, and casually defeat the monster with next to no effort. Episode 2 is the episode that made me realise what the heart of this anime is, and that's the characters. This is a character-driven anime, and in this episode, it's Maya who takes centre stage, and she's explored in a very fun way. She accidentally becomes a cleaner, and she's struck by the kindness and hard work of the other cleaners, which makes her realise there's a world outside the one she grew up in, which was literally 3 rooms for sleeping, learning, and eating. There couldn't be a better counterpart for Akira. Maya is also alien. She's also a typical hero type for entertainment purposes, and it's fun watching her embrace the real world. That said, Akira and Maya never lose their dignity as characters. They are treated with just enough depth and humour without them becoming silly, and I like that. The only complaint I have about episode 2 is the part where Maya takes out two security officers and she says it was easy because they were volunteers. I did find that offensive towards volunteers, and the producers could have cut that line out completely. Episode 3 explores the concept of the cafe that is the front for the mecha pilot's operations, and it's a fully functioning cafe too. Maya becomes a robotic waitress, which leads to a very funny moment, but what really interested me was that the cafe provides activities for the mecha pilots to boost their special abilities and teamwork skills, of which they use to fight the monsters. One of those activities includes Read Out Theatre, where the pilots literally read out a script in front of the cafe's audience. That, coupled with how the pilots put their hearts into the performances, including the straight as a line Akira, it's such a charming thing to watch. The anime didn't have to include that idea, but they did, and it's cute. I kind of wish the anime focused on that element more. Wouldn't it be great if we also got to see the pilots also do rehearsals for their theatre performances? We also get introduced to a new character, a little girl, and I was worried that she would be the annoying character that brings the whole anime down. So far she hasn't annoyed me, but we'll see. By episode 4, it's clear that a formula for each episode is emerging, and I'm fine with that. This is not a very complex anime with an elongated story over its 20-odd episodes. It seems to be an exploration of various characters, and it's a good thing too because the characters are all likeable, but best of all, the execution of them all was handled very well. They could have come across as annoying stereotypes, but they all had dignity and likeable aspects. For example, episode 4 focuses on Kokone, and instead of her being represented as a wimpy weakling, and it could have seriously gone down that road, she's treated as a kind yet shy character who wants to be an actor. She's dignified. I don't really care that much about the battles. They take place in another universe, so it seems like there's not much at stake because of the disconnect between the other universe and the real world. I mean, I suppose you could say the ideology that the monster represents certain ideas and the ideas disappearing from the real world is what's at stake. But ultimately, they're just light shows. I care more about the anime exploring the characters. And finally, episode 5, the most hilarious episode thus far. It's also a good showcase for the music, which has so far been fantastic. The music is predictable in nature, but that works in the context of this anime because the anime is more or less straightforward. The scenes where the characters talk about themselves is made wonderful by the music. Also, even though most of the battles haven't really done anything for me, this battle actually doubled as a character study for the male characters, and it was hilarious. It was such a funny use of male attraction to swimsuits, and now I want more of the battles to double as character studies instead of just robots fighting to save the world. All in all, Aquarion Logos is turning out to be a fun mecha anime, and it's fun because of the characters, especially the leads, Akira and Maya. Usually for me it's the supporting characters that are the most fun, but refreshingly not this time. It's only bogged down by having too much emphasis on the mecha battles, which are for the most part, again, just flashy light shows. This anime has plenty of time to develop its characters from here on, and I really hope it does.